Okay, so the stove assignment. It's mainly an excuse to have a focused practice of the basic Maya workflow and how to approach this stuff. Okay, so as you see, I've made my reference images, I've mapped them onto the image planes, and I've put them into a layer, and I've set it to R there so that it's a reference layer. And this allows me to easily just turn this on and off as I need it. Okay, so first off, make sure you're in polygons. That's really important when you're starting. And make sure you've set your project, which is over here, project. And so you want to declare which client you're working for the next bunch of hours. All right, so now I have the poly shelf up, and I'm going to start obviously with a cube. So that just starts right there in the center. And you see by referencing it, I can't select those planes. I can only select that cube. Okay, so I'm going to go down into how the cube is born and start sketching in the detail that I need. Okay, so just like you'd lay out when you're drawing, some basic lines, right? I'm going to start off with my basic cube. All right, I'm going to have to readjust that drawing back. Now, yes, for something this simple, usually I would not bother with the drawings. But since I have to be a good role model for you guys, I went through the trouble of whipping that out in Photoshop. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. A few little adjustments there. And then subdivisions in height. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah, that's looking decent. Yeah, now notice how, because I have this door here, I'm not going all the way out to the front, right? Okay, so now let's just start popping between the views. And actually, let's do one little adjustment. Okay, so take that off reference for a moment. I'm just going to slide that guy a little bit this way. Yeah. And of course, figure out what stove you want to build. All right, actually, I was supposed to start this video off with, yeah, so, go on the internet, find exactly what you're trying to build, and, have that vision, that reference of, how those, the handle fits in, the style of things and how the burners are designed and all of that. Okay, so definitely start there. Okay, so let's now put that back to reference. There we go. And pop back to the side view. And good. Oops. Yeah, stay away from 3 on the keyboard. It's a preview of how things are going to look when they're smooth. It's a preview. It's not real. Okay? All right, so now I can start diving in on this and just bring that up to there, up to here. And okay, just tidy that up a bit, and great. So there I've sketched in the basics that I need. Okay, so I'm going to switch to faces here. So that's in component mode. And basically what I'm doing is I'm switching to components, to faces. All right, so I'll pull that out. And you see how by pulling it out, it's so much easier. If I tried to push this guy in, all right, let's Z back. All right, so let's say I'd modeled this out to the front. That wouldn't work as well. So if I push this in, you see the problem I'm getting? Yeah, that's not what I want. Okay, so by structuring my thoughts and my workflow correctly, all right, I can get a very good result very quickly. And let's check around on the backside. Good. So be careful what you select on the backside. So every once in a while you want to pop to wireframe, go, okay, yeah, hey, I haven't screwed up. And good. Okay. And so now I will grab this, and if we turn off the, let's see, show polygons, chunk, and we just say 6 on the keyboard. As you see, I've mapped out that inside space. So I'll just quickly build that and do the guy on the top as well. And so I've done that in a gray line there. Funny, I dashed that line in Photoshop and it's not dashed here. Weird. Okay, let's see, show polygons back to on. The reference planes, by the way, are NURBS, which is why they did not disappear. So just part of my workflow. Okay, so I'm just going to... All right, so I'm using the extrude tool, which you can find here under the extrude. Okay, edit mesh extrude. And so I've just then scaled down it in two directions. Okay, in the Y, and I've scaled it in the X. Okay, so I'm going to run that tool again. Here it is on the shelf, and then I can just push that back. Oops, lost my selection, so I just Z back, and there we go. And so I just push that back in, and you know, I could worry about the drawing, but I'm not. Okay, so there I have the inside of my stove pretty much ready to go. I need to round those edges, but we're going to talk about that in a bit. All right, so now let's talk about this top section, and we're going to do that as well. Okay. And so also just extruding these guys a little bit like this, and then so it's all fairly easy, and there we go. Okay, so that part's done. Yippee! Okay, so we're slowly getting there. And all right, should I start putting some bevels on this before I go any further? Maybe. Okay. All right, so I am going to select the guys on the inside, and I will do a bit of beveling. Okay, and we're just going to make that all round because that's how it is. Okay, these guys are round on the inside, so it's easy for you to clean. And good. All right, so I'm just going to pop up here to my bevel. Pink. Okay, so that bevels, gives me a little something to clean up there. Okay, so now that's a bad piece of geometry, but I'll worry about that later. My first job is to make a good piece of art. Okay, so that's really nice to have that bevel there. And now let's see if we can grab these guys. Bevel the top. I won't probably worry about, maybe I should worry about, all right, I'll worry about the back corners. Just so it gives me that proper little round at the top. Come on, select. Okay. Okay, so all this needs a little bevel to catch the light. And there we go. All right, so I'll pop to wireframe, check my selection. Oops, these guys have gotten lost. So there's a lot of checking to do. And then I will do the bevel again. So edit mesh, bevel, boom. Okay, so that's looking hideous. So I'm just going to go out here, and I'm just going to up the segments. Oh, no, it's not liking that. Ooh, all right. Weird. It's not liking it. All right, well, so problem solving. This is why I like doing these videos for you guys. Is, you know, you can see me problem solving, and things don't go well for me either. All right, so delete by type history. Hopefully that will then solve some of those issues. It kills off that bevel. So now I have to put another bevel in there. Or maybe we just check the smooth. Yeah, okay. Yeah, these guys are crap. But that top section, that's working okay for us. Okay, so Z, oops. Forgot that's a preview. Okay, so yeah, those are crap, but we know those are crap. Okay, so the reason why those edges freaked out is because our geometry here is not clean. So Z and okay. And so here I just go through and I clean this up. So yeah, as I was saying, you want to worry about the cleanup later, but if it allows you to make better decisions as you're actually doing the model, then maybe you need to do a little bit during the during the process. All right, so a bit better, and still has some issues. Okay, so continuing on. And so I'd probably want to put a little bevel on these guys. So those rounded edges to catch the light are really important. And I do want this guy, and I guess I'll get that bottom guy too. All right, mesh, bevel. It's what looks good. It is art at a point. All right, but you see, this is my problem with the bevel tools. Now I got to clean up this mess here. It's like, bother. Okay, so, it's fantastic, but it does add to the work. All right. So 4, there we go, and now, there we go. Zip, zip, zip. Yeah. Alrighty. Okay, so now I will clean this guy up. Oops. Not happy with that. Alright, and actually I will use the merge tool. Might as well introduce that. So this is just the, let's see, merge vertex tool. Love this. And so I can just pop that guy down to there, pop that guy to there. Now I'm going to have to clean up that edge there eventually. But right now I'm on this task, so I'm going to worry about this task. So, okay, and there we go. All right, so yeah, still legal geometry, still things to deal with, but looking fairly tidy. All right, so there's our basic shape. Now would be another good time to do an edit delete by type history. So when modeling, I dance on that button. I use it a lot. Okay, so now let's see, oven, box, sounds like a good name. And okay, so that's good. So now I'll make another cube, and this is obviously going to be the door. La la, zip, and height, zip, zip, zip. And figure out what that needs to be. Okay. Get that right out there. And that's about as good as I'm going to get. Alright, so select the verts on it. Hop that open. Let's see, if it's pivoting there, that's going to have to be a rounded edge. Let's see, what if, how to round that? I could put a bevel on it. Yeah, I guess we're just a big bevel, and then we'll bevel up everything. Alright, so edit, bevel, zip. Okay, yeah, that's about the right size. Up to segments. Yay! Okay, so that's going to give me something good. Tweak these guys out. So pop in between the views here. Oops. Da da. La 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 la. Da 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 da. I'm not using my drawings much. It's a simple object. As I said, I just made the drawings because I want to be a good role model. I think you should make the drawings because you're learning it. But, it's a little advanced on this sort of stuff. Okay, so now I'm just going to grab these edges, zip, zip, like that. And these guys, yeah, I'm gonna have to clean that up. Okay, and go to wireframe, check my selection, great. And so then I bevel that. Okay, so now I have those edges nicely beveled. Cool, a lot of cleanup work to do. And I can start worrying about doing my door, my glass door. Okay, actually, Z. Let's check my selection, and okay, la la. Okay, so I'm going to do the front and back at the same time, because obviously for the glass, I'm going to need to put that all the way through. Okay, so now yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Go back to smooth shade. So yeah, you do need to work in wireframe a fair amount. One mistake I see intro students making a lot is they don't use wireframe enough. Okay, so now I will do another extrude on this, and oops. Okay, pay attention there, Steve. Okay, so now I can just push these together so I get them lined up. Bink. Okay, and delete. So now I have that, or maybe instead of deleting those, now I can just toss a plane in there for the glass. That's not a big deal. Okay, so let's take a quick moment here, and we're going to use the Merge Edges tool. And so, oops, it's going to get uppity on me. No, it's going across. All right, so we'll use the Merge Vert tool. Oh, okay, yeah, that's because they're crossed over, it looks like. All right, so now let's find that Merge Vertex tool. And I probably shouldn't have just tossed those on top of each other. All right, let's try over here. Bink. Come on. It's definitely unhappy with me. All right, so do the standard thing, which is edit, delete by type history. Okay, there is a video on how to use history and what that's for. So merge vert tool. So yeah, I've really tried to think what are the intro things you guys need to know about and make a video on it. And so great, select both of these guys and just do a merge. Okay, so there we go. Good. So I can maybe keep that center line, or I can just delete it out and zip. Okay, so I just selected all the verts there and hit delete, and any vert that has 3 edges coming into it, it doesn't delete. Anything with 2, it does. Lovely. Okay, so then I'm going to round these guys' corners by, you guessed it, we're just going to use that bevel tool. Love the bevel tool. Okay, let's see. All right, select one. So years ago I had a student, a bunch of students that are just like, can you just work for a bit and us watch? Because they wanted to see how I approach things. And so that's the nice thing about the video here is I'm not eating up class time, but you can really see how I'm approaching things. And let's see, bevel. And so there. Okay, so take down that offset. Okay, yay. All right, so that'll be good. And I'm going to have to go up and merge those guys, or put a separate ring around there. Okay, so if I don't want that long triangle, and that's a valid thing not to want, is the tool is definitely arguing with me today. Let's see. Oh, I am using the split polygon tool, and there's a video on how to load that. The new interactive split tool drives me nuts. So luckily, because Maya is just code, we were able to load in the older and what I think is the more reliable tool there. Ta-da! Okay, so then edit, delete by type, history, and good. All right, so I'm going to hold down D and on the keyboard, and why is that going away? Weird. Bugger. Yeah, I want to move the pivot point. That is on. All right, we'll do it in the 3D view. And D, yeah, there we go. All right, now, see how stubborn I have to be with this? Man, yeah, this stuff isn't hard enough. Okay. Yay. Okay, so maybe oops, the whole thing should come down a bit. And D. So you see how I'm just putting the pivot point so this thing can open with little fuss. All right. Obviously, I'm going to call it oven door. Oven door. And hit the save button. And let's see, to modify freeze transformations. I'll keep it simple, Steve. All right, so I'm going to pop to a thing called the hierarchy. And good. So, and I'm just going to group these two guys together. And so this is going to be the oven group. Okay. So, oven group. You got to come up with a naming convention and stick to it. All right. So next, oh, I guess I'll do the handle. It's easy. I'll just take a cylinder, toss that over like that. Now it comes in as a 2020 cylinder. 8 is enough. Okay, so students get really sloppy with these little things, and it's like, gee, why won't mine render? Gee, can't I have another day on deadline? No, it's because they waste a lot of they're wasteful on every little step, and then it comes back and it bites them. Okay, so there we go. Zip, zip, zip. So that pops over there. That's actually, before I delete that, duplicate that. Okay, so that's faceted. I'm just going to grab the edges and go up here to normals and do soften edge. And so now you see how that's not faceted anymore. Okay, so handle spacer. I don't know. Just the important thing is you label it. Do stay away from any of the extra Norwegian letters. Sorry, guys. But those will cause lots of issues. Basically, anywhere in your files that can cause a problem. Okay, so I'm going to just take that and dupe it and rotate it. Okay, so let's rotate over here. Yippee! Good, and da-da. See, because I did the dupe and then I was very careful on how I moved it, I really didn't have to worry about it lining up. Actually, it should be a little bit taller. Okay, so fine, put that back at the center, bring back, and scale. Oh, here's a handy trick. Since I just want to scale out the radius there, I can hold down Control and then I can scale by doing selecting the handle that I don't want to scale on. So you see, by grabbing the Y handle and I'm holding down Control, that allows the other two to scale. Okay, so yippee. And so that's the handle. Great. And since these are all going to move with that door, I go back to the hypergraph and hierarchy. And we're probably going to talk about this next week. But okay, so oven door, group all of those guys, put them under the group, and you guessed it, we're going to call it door group. Door GRP. Okay, so you never parent geometry to geometry. And I look where the pivot point is. Flipping that. All right, so it looks like, I moved that pivot point too early. So now I want the group, oops, C and D. I want the group's pivot point. At least I know where to put it. And so now, great. I select that group, and I rotate it, and the whole thing opens up nice for me. All right. So this really showing you the basic tools, the thought process, how to attack. Let's do a quick save on it. Now those burners in the top, I want this this top edge to sort of, let's see if I can, I'm going to make that sort of soft. It's going to be a pressed metal. And I think probably another bevel. Zip. And give that 2 segments. There we go. And probably do the same at the bottom. Come on. All right, and sometimes you just have to manually try to select things. And all right, select something else, Steve. Good. Go back to this guy. And good. Think. Wireframe it. You see, because sometimes it can get confused whether it's selecting something on the front or on the back. All right, so there we go. And all right, so now another bevel. And good, 2 segments here. All right, so that just gives me a bevel going down. So now it's a nice sort of rounded section there. All right. Probably it's a little too deep, but what the hey. Okay, so now I'm going to round out these guys, and I'm going to do this now for strategic reasons. Come on. Switch to the mouse for a moment. Wow. See why I want you to have those drawings? Because you don't want to be sort of deciding on the look of your thing while you're trying to deal with this sort of technical problems. All right, let's select this, edit, delete by type, history, chunk, and see if that lets me select these guys better. All right. Well, it's not as I'd like to select all 4 and then just do 1 bevel, but it looks like I need to do it this way. And okay, good. So I'm just double clicking there. And all right, and so I put my bevels in. Yeah, I'm gonna have to clean up these guys at the edges. Okay, that's the downside of the bevel tool. Alrighty, and good. So now I am going to just grab these 2 guys. Just want to sort of widen that space at the corners. So just scale a little bit there. Grab these 2 guys. Scale a little bit there. Okay, so that gives me a little bit broader. Okay. Great. And let's see. I guess I'll select this in objects mode for this next one. And I'll pop to the top. Do I really want to cut the center section of it? Probably not. All right, fine. Face. All right, so now I'm just going to select select the faces going around instead, and then I can deselect all the stuff on the inside so I'm not slicing and dicing the inside as well. Okay. All right, great. So I'm just going to slice the top using the Cut Faces tool. Another one of my favorites, Cut Faces. And so I'm just going to hold down Shift and put it right through those the centers there, the face centers. And that's the nice thing about the face centers, is you can very easily do that. And so once again, trying not to slice the center section. I guess I'm going to have to deal with it a little bit here on the front, but yeah. Oof. All right. And do the same the other way. So notice how I didn't add this in earlier, because it just would have added more detail for me to deal with. All right, so I'm just adding detail. Oops. All right, Z back, get you selected, and righto. Okay, great. So now I got my quads, and I can start putting in those 4 burners. If we turn the reference images back to on, polys to off, and so remember, this is what I'm building. Okay. I think I might leave you on your own for the dials. That's pretty simple. But I think this next technique is really important. All right. Okay, so I want to do the burners. Okay, so yeah, you go, oh, that's really simple, Steve. We just make a nice little cylinder, and yeah, a cylinder is a good place to start. I'm going to take this down to, let's see, let's try 8 by 8. That sounds good. And do a couple divisions in the height. I guess I'll subdiv the cap a bit. Yeah, okay, that sounds good. And then I will subdivide the height, and not too much. Okay, great. Yeah, for somewhere I've picked up a Scottish great while I'm doing this stuff. So, probably from Billy Connolly. Yeah. Okay, so slice off those faces on the bottom. Just get rid of them. And all right, double click this guy. Scale him out a bit. All right, should be okay. And all right, the reason why I did these guys up here is I'll see if that's a lot of stuff there. But yeah, usually in the center there is, a little dip down. So maybe I'll dip like that. Maybe like so. Anyhow, that's not why I wanted to show you this. Okay, and of course we grab most of the edges. Also notice how much I do switch my cameras. I'm not always in that perspective view. All right, so now I'll just do a quick soften edges, boom. So there I get that hard edge, and then if we hit the preview on it, looks like that. Okay, mediocre. Okay, so now I'm going to position this puppy down in one of the corners. And right about there. Let's see, is that going to be good for, I got 1, 2, All right, so let's rotate this. And yes, that can be okay. Or 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. See why I wanted a little more there. Yeah, all right, let's put it back. Subdivide subdivide, yeah, all the way through there to there. Here, well, it gets me a nasty triangle there, but I can go straight across, straight, straight, and a nasty triangle there. Yeah, can work. As I said, the point of doing this video is to show you my thought processes of how do I approach this stuff. All right, so I'm going to place this about here. Good. And I'm going to toss this in a new layer. Call it Burners, DL. Okay, great. And so I'm going to template that at first. I'm going to pop to the top view. And I just hit the backface culling button. So I've just taken the oven box and said, hey, backface cull it. So I'm only seeing the front stuff. It just saves me from making the wrong selection. All right, so now I know this guy is going to end up as round. I get him placed correctly, right? And I can build my geometry on my stovetop accordingly. Okay, so I'm going to start off real simple here. And so using the interactive split tool again. Oops, Z. Yeah, not shooting straight. There we go. Zip, zip. And good. Yeah, all right. Okay, so that's pretty good. Pop that to the center for now, and yeah. Yeah, okay. Righto, so now I will then just quickly go bing. Will it let me bing there? No, it won't. All right, fine. But you see, by having that guy templated, I know exactly where I need to put these corners to then make a circle. Yeah, it's quite a sentence there. Okay. And notice, since I'm working in the orthographics, I'm only adjusting it in the Z and the X, right? So I don't have to worry about the Y. I know this is going to be flat. Fantastic. Okay, so now you see I can even cut that center section there. Pink. Okay. La la da da da. And so now I can pop to this guy and down like that. And now this guy is going to go straight over to his counterpart on the other side. I'm not happy with that. That's that. So what I'm doing there is I'm hitting, I'm seeing that it's drawing the wrong thing. And so, insert curse word of your choice. And then I hit enter to makes the poly split over here. And then I Z back to get rid of it. I hit Y, which brings up the tool, the last tool I was using again. And yeah, so, okay, come on. Nope, it's not grabbing the Y, so, all right, fine, I'll cut. So sometimes you have to be stubborn and go, all right, I'll do it from the opposite side. Yeah, it's really being a pain in the neck this time. Don't you love how they make these tools easy for us? So this is where getting the computer to do all the second guessing and goes, oh, well, this is what he wants to do. And you're like, no, it's not. It really is not what I want it to do. Okay, and then sometimes you just have to go, fine, build it that way. I pop in, I kill off that edge, kill off the resulting extra vert using the delete tool, and then you guessed it, I grab the merge vertexes and get it to where I want it. Pesky computers. All right. Da, 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 da. But having done cell animation in college, oh, I'd so rather do this. Okay. So you see, now I have that thing that's going to be that perfect circle. So I'm pretty darn happy with that. I might actually, let's scale that up a little bit. Why the heck are you doing that? Because it seems to be the easiest way for me to get another little edge in there is to just do an extrude on the edges, and then ta-da! So now I'll pop back to here, and you see what I get. And I can either bring that up, or I can push it down depending on how I want those two items to relate. Am I happy with this? Not really. This might be an okay solution for now, that I then go back and go, all right, I just have to live with an edge loop going over the side like that. But yeah, so I would do that on all four, or chop this out, cut and paste it, move it around, and then paste it together. But the main reason why I want to do this with you is so you could see that, all right, I take this guy, and I know that it's going to end up as round. I know where those verts are. By putting it in its own layer and making that a reference layer, I can snap to it, or if I'm not going to snap to it, I can just put it in a template, and then I can see where those edges are. So as you see, this is a fantastic way to get that, that nice little bit of modeling in there. All right, so these are the things I want you to be observing as you go. All right, so we're going to talk next, the following week after this, about cleanup. All right, so this week it's about looking for those details and putting them in, and working with the tools and seeing which ones to trust and which ones not to. All right, I'm just going to toss a smooth onto that. So mesh, smooth. Eesh. Okay. See, I'm not happy with that. Okay, so let's just pop into the smooth option box. Turn off hard edges for a moment. See if I like that better. I don't like that better. Okay. So maybe I should have taken those divisions out. All right, so let's give this guy a couple more divisions. I'll leave you on your own to do the other guys. It's these videos are probably boring enough without you seeing me do the same operation 4 times. Actually, just rewind the video 4 times. Yeah, there you go. So, all right. And so now slice through that way. And so now apply the smooth. You see, much happier. Still not happier down here. So these corners I really got to sort out. So maybe I need to take that double line all the way out. All right. So, but the first thing is get your basic shape in there that you want, then go back and start dealing with these little technical things, okay? Because remember, the clients, they pay us for a good piece of art. They don't pay us for it to be technically accurate. We need it to be technically accurate, but if it's technically accurate and it looks like crap, then there's no point in cleaning it up. Okay, so now I think I'm going to like that a little better. Oh, here's part of my problem. So somewhere along the line, I accidentally deleted a guy. All right, so we'll just draw him back in with some difficulty. Okay. Isolate. Pop around to the backside. Yeah, that is definitely a problem set of children back here. Oh, that's why it's giving me some problems. Alrighty. Good. Alright. So this is why you want to check your wireframes fairly frequently. You want to spin things. You can't leave anything to the last minute because, just one of these little problems. Here I'm like, yeah, I think that's probably enough for this video. And that's like, oh, no, I have another task, which is, good education. But, yeah, okay. So I need to clean up the backside so it looks the same. But let's take a quick look at this guy with the smooth. And you see how that's much better than that guy. So yeah, it's a little extra work, but I'm getting something I'm happy with. And I got sort of that round door thing happening. But I'm a little need to sort of flatten the front side. Yeah, maybe put a bevel around this guy. Mesh. Edit mesh, bevel, zip. Okay, so maybe that gives me something I'm happier with down here at this corner. But that's how you should approach it. And I would start worrying about having things at 4 edges. So you really, looking at like this piece of geometry here, all right, this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 edges. So that's what's called an n-gong, and we want to get rid of it. So now can the computer clean it up? Sure, but computer has no idea what I'm building, so I'm not going to trust it with such an important task. So I am going to just bop through, and there, that's cleaned up mediocrely well. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyhow, so that's what it looked like before. And so you want to start worrying about that because it will sort of help you as you're problem solving, is you sort of clean and you define your form. I think that takes us through the basics. We've seen the split polygon tool. We've used the layers, the display layers intelligently. We've seen a bit of this grouping and how the hierarchy allows us to group things together. We see why we want to start labeling everything. Okay, and we've seen the harden and soften edges. The glass, that's just a separate plane. I can stuff in there. That'll do fine. And yeah, would I go so far as beveling these edges? Yes, I would definitely put a bevel on those. Now whether it's one bevel or 2 segments, or you want to have just enough. It needs to look good, but it can't bog everything down. So yeah, so you want to think through that. And you see how those little guys, they really didn't need that much to them. And we see how the burner is looking pretty damn nice up there by itself. All right, and so you just do the knobs and same sort of way. Whoops. Yeah, this is the problem with the bevel, is you do get these hard edges. So let's just soften. Yay! Or I could go around here and do harden. Yay! So now I have a crisp edge. Okay, so that's how you want to approach it. Hope this helps. Have fun.